We're here at SC2, Central Region's largest event of the summer. Let's check it out.
We've got a new record breaker right here. Our branch manager team, if you're a branch manager, please go ahead and stand up.
And so what we have in the branch manager position is the lowest risk opportunity I've ever seen for somebody to get hands-on business experience. It's short-term, no long-term commitment. That's the beautiful part of this.
Yeah, so if someone here or someone watching this never heard of a branch manager before, I think it's like getting your MBA in the summertime. You run a business, you recruit, you interview applicants, you run training, you develop and you retain them, and you do it consistently throughout a summer. When May starts, the summer hits, you take off your backpack, and when August ends, you go back to school and you put on your backpack and you ran a business over the summertime, which none of your friends ever did.
Ours is like a franchise, but it's not. What does that mean? We have all the proven systems, all the stuff that you need, scripts for everything, and they advertise, they recruit, they train, and they develop their own sales team from scratch. That is a lights out experience.
I always saw myself working with people. I love to work with people. I was a captain in most of my sports teams. So for me, I saw my pilot sales manager and I was like, how do I get Teddy's job is his name. And so when I was talking to Josh, my division manager, he was telling me how, if you do this and this, you could be Teddy basically.
So this is not for vector people. This is for somebody who wants the goal, he has the goal of being an entrepreneur. The experience by itself is the most valuable piece. It's not the profit, it's that experience of being able to research, start a business from scratch, and get to see that happen.
My second summer, it was a lot more of, I enjoyed my experience the first summer. I felt like I learned a ton, but I also felt like I had so much more on the table and so much more that I could do better and learn more. And so I felt like I almost had to because I knew that I could do a lot better. I think actually the reason I almost didn't do it was probably the best reason for me to do it is because I just didn't know how it was gonna go. I feel like in high school and even in college with athletics or academics, I always pretty much hit the goals I have for myself. And so I knew if I was gonna be a branch manager, I was gonna have really, really high goals. And honestly, I didn't ever hit the goals I set as a branch manager. And I knew going into it that it would be really hard for me to hit those goals, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. And so I think that uncertainty and not knowing if I was going to be able to do it almost held me back because I didn't want to fail at something. And I kind of have since then reframed my idea of what failing is.
I would say the biggest challenge is not getting complacent. So, I'm not going to be complacent at any point because, first week of the summer, we had a training class that we launched. It was probably one of the best training classes in the branch category in the company. The next week I was complacent. I was excited about the training class we had, but I didn't prepare and do the same thing I did the week before. So that was like the biggest, not struggle, but I'd say more like learning lesson is if you're complacent, you're not gonna get the results.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of moments where I didn't think I could do it this summer. The big one that comes to mind, it was my first training of the summer. I felt like I had done all the work beforehand that I needed to, and I had done it better than I had my first year. And I wasn't really seeing the results, and I had a training, and I ended up actually getting in a little bit of a fender bender on the way to my first day of training, which really threw me off. And then I ran a very bad training. And so my first training was just a disaster. And so I texted Tyler and I said, I need you to call me whenever you can or I'm gonna quit right now. And so I talked to Tyler for an hour. And we just talked about a game plan of, okay, how do I fix it? How do I use my extra time wisely to rebuild and to get myself back in the right headspace? And obviously he cared about me personally and the car crash and getting that all figured out. And then the next week, actually, I had a really great training, and that was kind of the first little bit of momentum that my office got, and we just kind of took off. I do think a skill I developed is learning how to work with different people, but I also understand myself a lot better. And so that's been really big for my other relationships. I've noticed this summer, I can kind of see the things that are gonna stress me out before they stress me out. And then I can make sure that that stress is devoted to work or whatever I need it to be. Instead of, I think my first summer, I wouldn't see the things that were gonna stress me out. I wouldn't see them coming. They would stress me out, and then I wouldn't even realize I was stressed until I had done something that I didn't really like. Like maybe I didn't show up very well in a conversation with my boyfriend or my parents or my friends. And I was like, wait, why did I do that? Or like, why am I cranky? And then I realized that I'm stressed about work. And so now I see it coming more. I can kind of talk myself through it, and I do a better job of not letting it bleed into the other areas of my life.
And was the other question like most successful at?
What's the thing that you've enjoyed the most?
Oh, enjoyed the most?
Yeah.
Oh, enjoyed the most is just working with a lot of people. What I really love is making sure that young adults learn like the biggest skill I think they're lacking in, which is advocating for themselves. So my representatives, from the time they start, they learn how important I think it is. So I'm watching young adults who are scared to talk in a training class, who are now asking me to get invited to conferences or become assistant managers instead of me asking them. And I feel like just helping them build those skills regardless of what they do in their life is like something that I enjoy doing, and out of all of that, we create a great team culture.
To a rep who's thinking about coming back for a second summer, especially in management, I would say definitely do it, because the skills that they're gonna get they affect every part of life. And I think I learned a lot in sales, but you learn even more about the sales when you're on the management side of it. So being a branch manager has helped me with sales. I'm better at sales than I ever have been because I'm teaching, but also just the relational and self-management that you have to be in charge of your own time and run an office and build a team. That's huge, and that shows up in the way that you are with your family and with other loved ones, friends, like in the future. And so getting those skills, I think, is a really great opportunity.
You know, the biggest questions I always ask people management-wise is just like what they see themselves doing. It has nothing to do with me. I would tell someone if I didn't think that they should be a manager, but it's hardly the case, right? Because no one really wants to work for someone, right? And so then it's like, well, this is your opportunity to work for yourself. My other bigger question too is like, is anyone else offering you a job next summer? And the answer, I'd say 90% of the time is no.
Also, if they're anything like me, probably the reason that you don't want to do it is the number one reason you should do it. So whether it's you don't think you have the time, you probably just need to practice with time management. Or if you don't know if you're good enough to do it, it sounds like you need a platform to develop that confidence. So I think whatever they have going on that they're worried about is probably exactly the biggest benefit that they can get out of being a branch manager.